Hello class, today we're going to continue talking about polynomials. So it's continuation of chapter 8. We're going to be talking about multiplying polynomials by a monomial. And a little hint here, what we're going to be talking about is using the distributive property. So whatever we have on the outside of the set of parentheses, we're going to go ahead and multiply by everything inside the parentheses. So for example here on the distributive property, we're going to go ahead and do x times a, which gives you ax, and then ax times b. So you're going to go ahead and add b times x. And then whatever it is, and if you can combine like terms and so on and so forth, then you can go ahead and do that. So in our first example, we're going to go ahead and do the distribution, but before I go into distributing, whenever you have a variable by itself, go ahead and keep in mind you're going to add a 1 in front of it, and also based on the law of exponents, you also have an invisible exponent of 1. So just keep that in mind. So whenever we're going to go ahead and distribute the big numbers, notice that whenever we distribute, you are going to multiply. So let me put that here. Distributive property means that you are multiplying. So the big numbers are going to get multiplied. And if you remember the law of exponents, you're going to add the exponents when you're multiplying. But in this case, so here 1 times 4 gives you 4x. And then again, we are multiplying, so make sure, and they have the same base. So we're going to go ahead and add the exponents here. So we have 2 and 1. That gives you 3. And then we're going to, since that's not the only thing we have inside the parentheses, then we're going to go ahead and distribute it to the next one. Again, this x does not have an exponent, so we're going to go ahead and add that 1. So we multiply the big numbers. 3 times 1 gives you 3. Keep your variable, which is x, and then just add the exponents. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. And last but not least, you have to distribute that one to the last one. And this is just the big number, a whole number. So 1 times 2 gives you 2. But we do still have an x there, so we do have to apply that x to that 2. And you can double check if you have any like terms, and nothing is raised to the same power. So that will be your final answer. So we're going to go ahead and look at number 2. So for number 2, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Again, if you don't see a power, go ahead and add a 1. And again, big numbers you multiply, and exponents you're going to go ahead and add. So here you have a -4, and again it's on the outside, so you are distributing to the inside of the parentheses. So -4 times 2 gives us -8. And here again, just a reminder for multiplication and division, only when you're multiplying and dividing integers, you can go ahead and use this, the little triangle. So negative and a positive gives you negative, and a positive gives you a negative. And keep that in mind. So back to the problem, we have -4 times 2, which is -8. And then we have the x in common, so same base. And add your exponents. So 1 plus 3 gives you 4. Go to the next one. Negative and a negative give you a positive. Big number 4 times 2 gives you 8. Keep your base, your your variable. And then add your exponent. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. And last but not least, let's go ahead and distribute that. -4 times 3 gives you -12. And then keep your variable, And you can go ahead and add the 1 if you want as the exponent for your final answer, but you don't have to. So this is your final answer right there. So now going to number 3. This is a problem I would have you try in class, but we can go ahead and try it together. Again, this one does not have a exponent, so you can go ahead and add a 1. Notice that the ones on the inside of the parentheses also do not have number in the front, a whole number, but you know that whenever you have a variable by itself, you can go ahead and add a 1 in front. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and distribute the outside to the insides. Big number, multiply. 3 times 1 gives us 3. Keep our variable, and then just add your exponents. So 1 plus 4 gives us 5. Then make sure you distribute to everything inside those parentheses. Again, big numbers just multiply. So 1 times 3 again gives us 3. And then x we have to the first power and to the third power. Go ahead and add those. That gives us to the fourth power. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and distribute here. So 3 times 1 gives us 3. And then just add your exponents. Don't forget your variable. 1 plus 2 gives us 3. And again, just double check if you have to simplify and you can combine like terms. But in this case, all of them are different powers. So that will be your final answer. So if you can go ahead and take a look at number 4. It looks a little bit lengthier, but it's the exact same thing we were doing right now. The only thing is that now you have 2 different parts. So you're going to go ahead and distribute the first part, and then take a break from the first part, and then distribute the last part. So if you take a look at the first part, again, if we don't have an exponent, go ahead and add an exponent there. Same thing on the ones on the inside of the exponents. So I'm going to go ahead and work with the first part. So distribute that to the inside. Again, big numbers multiply. So 4 times 3 gives us 12. And then keep my variable and add your exponents, which gives us third power. Don't forget to distribute to everything inside those parentheses. 4 times 1, 4. Keep your variable and add your exponents. That gives us 2 raised to the second power or squared. And then distribute to the last one. Negative and a positive make a negative. 4 times 4 gives us 16. And then just go ahead and add that n. Again, you can put that exponent of 1, but you don't have to. So we're done with the first part. The second part that we have there, you're going to go ahead and add your 1 there as your whole number. And you can add the 1 there as your exponent. Same thing on the number on the inside. Add your 1 and add your 1. So you can go ahead and distribute. Negative 1. Take it together. So negative 1 times 3 gives us negative 3n because of this n right here. And then distribute that negative 1n raised to the first power to the last number that we have there. Negative and a negative make a positive. 1 times 1 gives us 1. And then we have n. And you add the exponent. So 1 plus 1 gives us 2. And then we're going to go ahead here. We can actually combine like terms. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to see the one that has the highest power. So the one with the highest power is raised to the third power right here. And that's the only thing that I have to combine with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put 12n cubed, or raised to the third. And then the next one will be the second power, which I'm going to go ahead and do a circle right here, and to this last one. So it's the same sign. I'm going to go ahead and add and keep the sign. So 4 plus 1 gives us 5. and it is a positive. And just keep your term, which is n squared. And then last but not least, we do have negative 16n and minus 3n. So same sign, you add and keep the sign. So 16 plus 3 is 19. Keep your variable, and both of them are minus or negatives. So you're going to go ahead and put that minus there. Now we can combine because they all have different powers. So then that should be your final answer. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this last one. And again, just if you don't have a power, this is a plus sign right here. Make sure you put the powers. If you don't have a number in the front, go ahead and add that number. And then you can go ahead and distribute. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first one. So big numbers multiply. That gives us negative 2 times 4 gives us negative 8. Put the variable g and add your exponents. 1 plus 2 gives us 3. Go to the next one, next term. Make sure you distribute to everything inside. Negative and a negative gives us a positive. 2 times 3 gives us 6. Again, g raised to the 1 power, g raised to the 1 power. 1 plus 1 gives us 2. So raised to the second power. And then last but not least, we're going to go ahead and multiply across. So that gives us negative 2 times 1, negative 2. And don't forget your g. Again, you can put that little 1 on the top. You don't have to. And then let's go ahead and do the last one. Negative 1 times 3. Negative 3g. Go ahead and add your exponents. That gives me 3. Negative 1 times 2 gives me negative 2g. 1 plus 1 on the exponents gives me 2. And then the last one is negative 1 times negative 1. Negative and a negative gives me a positive. 1 times 1 gives me 1. And then this does have a term, so I'm going to go ahead and put g. And then I'm just going to go ahead and combine like terms on the last one. So I'm going to look at my highest power. So my highest power is g to the third. Here we have same sign, so we're going to go ahead and add and keep the sign. So negative 11 g to the third. And then I have my squared. Here it's different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 2 gives me 4 g squared. And keep the sign with a bigger number. The 6 is bigger, so I'm going to put a plus in front. And then the last one, I have negative 2g plus 1g. Here I have different signs as well, so I'm going to subtract. 2 minus 1 gives me 1. And I'm going to keep the sign with a bigger number. In this case, it's 2, so I'm going to go ahead and put a negative in the front. So that is my final answer, because I can no longer combine because of the powers. Everything has a different power, raised to a different power, so that would be my final answer. If you have any questions, you guys are going to do IXL Z6. It's over here on the top, left-hand corner. You're doing Z6. If you have any questions, don't forget to download the Remind app. I am counting that as a quiz grade. So Remind app, quiz grade. Don't forget. Okay, if you have already downloaded, then you do have 100 already on Skyward. Just double check on that. If you have any questions, please contact me on Google Classroom or Remind once you have that app. Okay, thank you.